Howdy, y'all. Today we're doing LeetCode question number 2778, sum of squares of special elements. You are given a one-index integer array, nums of length n. An element nums I of nums is called special if I divides n, i.e. n modulus I equals 0. Return the sum of squares of, return the sum of the squares of all special elements of nums. So here we got the example. So nums 1, 2, 3, 4, output 21. There are exactly 3 special elements in nums. Nums 1, since 1 divides by 4. Nums 2, since 2 divides 4. And nums 4, since 4 divides by 4. Hence, the sum of the squares of all the special elements of nums is nums 1 times 1 plus nums 2 times nums 2 plus nums 4 times nums 4. 1 times 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 4 times 4 is 21. Alright, so we got an interesting one here. We're going to need a for loop since we're going to have to iterate through the numbers here, or this vector. So we're going to need a for loop, and then within that we're going to just simply plug this in and then go from there. So we're going to have an if statement. We're going to have an if statement that plugs in this equation here. So it's pretty much going to be exactly like this. If I modulus n, and then whatever happens here. And then from there we're going to, since it wants us to sum the squares, we'll do what the example shows here, which is num1 times num1, nums2 times num2. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So int result is equal to 0. All right, and then let's set up our for loop here. So for int I equals 0, I is less than nums.size, and then I plus plus, and then int. We're gonna create a temporary variable here to store our the multiplication part of it, just to help us out a bit. The next part that we have to do is we have to create an if statement here. This is going to check. We're going to plug this part in here. So if we're going to kind of rearrange this real quick. So something that I've noticed, you can experiment this on your own if you want, but something I noticed is that setting a variable with the length of nums seems to be less efficient as just doing nums.size. That's something that I noticed. I encourage you to look into it as well. See if you notice the same thing, and then if you notice something different, let me know in the comments. So this is pretty much, we're plugging in this operation here in this if statement. So if this is true, what we want to do is we want to do temp equals nums I times nums I. So right here we're pretty much squaring the numbers here, like it recommends. So we have to find the sum of all of it. So we just square it here just to make it a bit easier, and then we're gonna have result equal whatever temp is. So whatever we pretty much want to add the temp, whatever the result of this operation is, we want to add that to our result variable that's declared up here. And then with that done, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so I'm here editing the video. I made an oopsie. What you could have did here was, you could have just did this. So instead of having the result, you do result plus equals nums times I, let's see, times nums I. And this will give you the same results here. So if we run this real quick. I know this is a bit further into the video, but this pretty much shortens the code a bit. And then you don't need this temp variable. So just running this nums plus equals nums I times nums I is also, this is the more efficient way to do it. What I recorded was pretty much my original answer. So just a little bit of optimization there, just in case for, you know, future reference. But anyway, let's go ahead and return our result. So one thing that we got to keep in mind for is this right here. So the reason why we add the I plus 1 is because we don't want to divide by 0. If we run this, we'll get a divide by 0 error. This says that it's one indexed, which, I mean, I feel like in this case it doesn't really matter too much, but this will help us avoid divide by 0 errors. So yeah, that's why that's there. And that's that's probably one of the most important things about this problem right here, is just making sure that you're not dividing by 0. So if we go ahead and run this, should work. And bada beep, bada boom. As usual, since we're iterating through a whole list of variables here, or a whole list of numbers here in this vector, it's going to be a time complexity of O of n, because depending on how big the nums variable is, that's going to increase the time it takes to iterate through all of them and then go through this check. So that's pretty much the worst case if we have to go through all of it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and you know, throw a like on there if you're watching this far. You know, you don't have to subscribe or nothing. Just, you know, if you like it, if you like the way I explain things, just hit me with a like. That's all I ask for in return. All right. Hopefully you found this helpful, and yeah, adios.